Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Jade, and this is How to App on iOS. And today, we're going to be doing some mastering with
Trinity.
The Audio Mastering Suite.
That's super cheap and super good. But first, we're going to kick off with a brand new, never before heard or seen track by Night Train 1988. This is the summer of 95.
It's the summer of 95, the boy's 17. Worked all summer long to earn the cash. He would be walking in through the doors to the new music store. And there he would see the drums on the shelf. They would be mine one day, he said.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope you're all doing good. My name is Jade. This is How to App on iOS, and you were just listening to Night Train 1988. That is a brand new track that is unlisted, first time heard anywhere Pretty damn good stuff, yeah? So there's a pinned comment up the top. There it is there. You can go and check out his music. Go and subscribe to his channel or hit the Song Whip link and you can get all his stuff on iTunes and Bandcamp and all that stuff there. Nice and easy to do. Big warm welcome to our Wart Warriors. For $1 a month, you can become a Wart Warrior, get custom emojis in the chat, and we do special shows during every now and again, quizzes, roasts, all this kind of stuff for your membership. It's $1 a month. Excuse me. You have to bear with me today. Not feeling good at all today. Show nearly got cancelled, but we're here. So I'm going to push through as much as I can. We've got Thomas Christ. Thanks for putting in the link there, my friend. David Collette, hello. There you go. Mr. Smith, what's happening? Gregory O'Sullivan, Tremor Bear, Chris Lane Sr., Robbie Stingle, Auntie G, hello. Nino, what is happening, my friend? Who else? Scott Borthwick, greetings, L'Oreality. Man, get it together. I saw lots more people, but my chat goes all weird once I click on a comment. So I'm just scrolling through. Who else do I see? Deep Gravity. What's going on, Cam? Who else do I see? Corey. I saw Corey. Hello, welcome, Corey. Going to do my best to push through this today. So basically with this today, I'm going to do a basic run through of it. So I'm going to master a song with it. And we're definitely going to be looking at this more and more as the days go by because, as you know, on my Patreon, if you join my Patreon, every weekend I master your music. So Patreon send me their music and I master your songs. And so much of the music you hear on YouTube, I've mastered, which is pretty amazing in itself. There's Corey. Audible video, I think I saw Russ as well. Hello, Russ. Let's scroll back down to the bottom. So this is probably going to be something I'm going to use a fair bit, yeah? Hello, Sean the Prawn. I've been following for a while. You used to record demos. I'm recording. If you can recommend the easiest, best way to do multiple track with, please. There's so many options to record multi-tracks. Start a GarageBand. That is the best way to start because it's free and it's on iOS. And then move up. That is my best suggestion because it's free. I'm going to talk about GarageBand for a second as well. I saw Brad. I had Brad example. Yes, hi Brad. I think I got most of you. If I've missed you, just call me an idiot in the chat. Joe Glenn. Hello, Pete Johns. There we go. All right. So, shall we cover a couple of things? So, I put out a short yesterday. Now, Pete dropped a video yesterday on this, and I'm just going to talk about it briefly. I'm just going to play the short because I'm not going to go and recreate this. But yesterday, Pete noticed in GarageBand there's a new AU plugin in there. Yeah? And he did a quick show on it and was like, what's going on with this? What does it do? Why does it? How do we get this thing to work? And after he dropped the video, I think Pete thought the plugin, it's a voice isolation thing, whatever it is, AU. And Pete thought it might have been something that removed vocals, like the new feature in the music app. And I left a comment on his video straight after going, are you sure it's that? I think it's a a noise remover for vocals. And I checked it out a little bit further. Hi, Sai, I missed you as well. Sai, effing good to see you. And I did a little bit more research into this, and guess what? It's what it does. So I dropped a little short on this yesterday. So if we can load it up. And it tells you exactly, oh, there's a whole bunch of weird stuff here, which I shouldn't be showing yet. Really cool in GarageBand. It's called AU Sound Isolation. It can be found in the plugins and EQ section. Then hit Edit, then hit Plus, choose Audio Unit Extensions, and scroll all the way to the bottom, and you'll find AU Sound Isolation. Now let's record some vocals, but first I'm going to turn on a really high-powered noisy fan. There we go. I'm going to hit record and sing a little bit. Now let's play back the vocals and then I'll turn on AU sound isolation and listen to the background noise disappear. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. And when you open it up, you can control the wet and dry mix. Pretty cool stuff, yeah? Who would have thought Apple would have dropped something actually cool? Shut up. Yeah, well, who would think Apple would do that? But it's real, and it's an alternative to Bruce Free. That's what it is. That's exactly what it does. Now, the one thing you need to remember about it, let's talk about this, is it is for voice. So imagine when you open something like this app here. This is background remover. And I want to remove the background of something like this picture of Mamsie here. Right? And I hit smart background removal. And it intelligently understands that the person's there and it removes all of the background. So think about this AU the same way, because this is a voice. This focuses on the voice. So when I did some testing with it, basically I tried having the fan on at the same time and some music really loud. And it cut out the fan and it cut out the music until the vocals started on the music in the background, because it isolates the voice. So all I could hear was my voice and this background vocal. So it'll cut out any sound behind you, any noise or electronic hum or anything, or music playing in the background, or your cans if they're a bit too loud when you're recording vocals. But if it's got voice in the background somewhere, it'll still be there, because the algorithm's looking for voice. So just be aware of that. But a really cool free addition to GarageBand, and there's a lot of apps now that are actually allowing you to use the GarageBand AUs in them. So I'm assuming you can do that also. Really wicked stuff. Folks, also not long to go till something is released that I'm very excited about. I won't be able to do a show about it until next week, but it is dropping in about 7 hours' time, I do believe. And that is this. I'm just going to tell you about this quickly because it's awesome. It is the Saga synth coming from Audio Kit. And it's going to drop in a few hours' time, and it's dirt cheap and I'll be looking at it next week. It's like a dream come true. It's like having a Sega Game Gear in my hands, but so much more. So this will be dropping really, really soon. I'm just putting it out there, and the price is like virtually nothing. Let's head over and do some price drops. There's not much change from yesterday. Visual synthesizer has dropped a few bucks. Everything else is pretty much the same as yesterday's show. You can always go down into the description here, find the link to appslice.co, and I've specially made a link for you to save to your favorites that when you open it automatically, it does this. It goes straight to music apps only. So if you want to do that, it's down in the description. Look for the App Sliced link, and you just click up here, save it to your favorites. And every day you can check what apps are on sale. But today we are looking at this, and it is, as they say, out with the old and in with the new. We lost Final Touch this end of last year, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, we get from 7 Systems Cross-Platform Media Limited, that's a mouthful, Trinity Audio Mastering. And look at that. You don't even need this tutorial. Just get it. It's $6. You absolutely cannot go wrong. It is $6 dues, yeah? Hey, Colin, what's happening? So you can't go wrong. This thing's fully featured, and it even has reference tracks. Get the f*** out of here. So it's really mean, and it does a beautiful job of mastering. But for the novice, it's going to be a little bit more complicated, because I know there are those of us out there, and myself sometimes, you think about compression and limiting, and it all gets a bit swirly around your head. Well, we're going to master a song today, and I'm going to use a song that I've already mastered. So those of you know the Wolfstone Studio, I've been mastering their album recently, all 18 tracks, and I recently finished it and sent it off to them, and that's all mastered and done. But we're going to take one of those tracks today and see if we can master it and see what results we get compared to the one that I've already mastered. So before we jump in, and I may need to refer to some of this today because I don't have all the time in the world to learn all of this stuff. So I may need to reference some things here because, yeah, I haven't been well. Most of you know this. I'm dealing with some pretty heavy health stuff at the moment. And yesterday and this morning's not been good. But so on their website here at 7.systems, you can find, and I will put the link in the description to this, you can get to it through the app as well. So there are some amazing little guides here and overviews of the app, which you may need, like I did as well, just to make sure I know what's going on. So the main features of this are a 3-band reference-based audio mastering, so you can reference other tracks. Now that's going to be a hard thing to do today on here because, of course, I want to reference popular music. And if I do that, I'm going to get a copyright claim. So I can't really do that, but we'll reference against something else, maybe one of Pete's songs or something like that, even though they're not that similar, but you'll get the idea of what it's all about. So referencing, if you don't know, is you load up your track and then you try and come up with a song which is similar to your music and has a similar mix or master to what you want your song to sound like, and you're able to compare them, and it makes it really easy to compare. We have spectrum analysis up the wazoo, equalization, multi-band dynamics. So we've got 3 bands with dynamics, compression, lots of stuff to play with, normalization, also multi-band stereo processing, so widening, all that stuff. You've got your mono to check for any horribleness. You've got a wave shaper in here too to add some grit and dirt or sparkle. There's a whole, I think there's 5 algorithms you can choose between. Of course, you've got a limiter or clipper, up to you. Metering, 16, 24-bit and 32-bit exporting of your files. And yes, you can measure everything in LUFS or whatever you would like to measure it in. You've got multiple choices, which is really cool. So across from here, this is wonderful. The guide that has been put onto the website is really, really, really well put together. Gives us a routing system of how everything kind of works. You can see your output out to your masters. It kind of doesn't match up with the look of the app, but when you start to see the app, you'll see it makes sense. It even goes through, if you're a beginner or anything like this, how to set up, prepare a raw input file, input your audio, load a reference track, get started by setting the default presets range. There's a ton of presets, pre-normalizing, multiband compressor adjustments. So there's a lot of information here for you to swallow and understand. There you go. And there's even, what's really nice is on the demos page, there's you can go down here and you can download 3 tracks to mess around with. So you've got like a raw input, an export master to test against, and the preset that was used to do each of these masters. Yes, you can import presets. You can send those export presets. You can give them to other people. You can do all that jazz. For $6, you should have already bought it by now. Yep. All right, let's open the sucker up and see what's going on. Okay, welcome to Trinity. Let's zoom in a little bit. Tap load input at the top left to load a source audio. Optional tap load a reference track underneath it. Press the play button and start mastering. When you're happy with the master, tap export. Boom. Thank you very much for that. So Here is our main section of import up the top. So everything kind of runs like this across. Here's your imports. Here's your where your presets are. Then it goes through our EQ, down into our normalization. Then we can turn on our wave shaper. We've got our 3 bands here, output, and our final output here. So this is the kind of way it runs if you follow my mouse. And output, yeah? And then to get to our export is up the top here. So let's import something, but first we'll jump over to, where are we? Audio share. And I'll show you the track that we're mastering. This is the mix down of it. So you can see it's been mixed down really well. We've got plenty of headroom here to make, give it some spice, give it some thickness, give it some booty juice. Here is the song. This is I'll Take You There by Wolfstone Studio.
You see everything I want to see. You are everywhere I want to be. Want to need, going down, down, down.
Cool. So we're going to import that track in here. Our import button is at the top left-hand corner. And you're given 2 options. Now, this never works for me these days when I hit Media Library, because Apple's connection is always, it's weird, since Apple Music has become a thing. Wow, my flatmate, I can't wait till he moves out. What a cockhead. So you've got the Files app as well, or the Media Library, but as you can see from the Media Library, it doesn't really work with Apple Music. So we're going to go into Audio Share and find this track. There it is. It is now loaded, and automatically we've got a preset set here. Let's go over here. Now, the one thing I've noticed with this, clicking on things, hopefully this can be fixed, with my mouse on my Magic Keyboard is not working. So when I click on things, it's not actually working. So hopefully that's going to be fixed. I use my Magic Keyboard a lot more than my finger these days. So that needs to be fixed, definitely, 100%. I'm just going to go over to our default preset. So when it loads, it will always have a default preset set up, apart from just then, because I was testing this out last night. Same with his calculator. Your mouse clicks don't work. Yeah, we've got to get that sorted. I'll tell you a little bit about the code too. I've seen a lot of people crying, going, but it should be AUV3. Yeah, AUV3 would be handy, but from what the developer has said is that this is a standalone thing, and the reason that it is more of a standalone thing is that the code has been built so it can be ported to Windows and Mac, which is something coming down the line, and then it just would have added so much more development time to add AUV3 in there as well. But fingers crossed, it will be coming. But as a standalone, I mean, Final Touch had AUV3 as well. Did anyone really use that? I don't know. So down here, I want to focus on this button too, our process button. When you turn this off, it turns off all processing, but it keeps the level as what the track's been loaded in as. So it's a little bit louder already than the previous version you heard. And we have the default setting here, and we'll turn this on. Oh, geez.
You see everything I want to see.
If somebody tells you you don't need to master your song, tell them to fuck off.
Want to need, going down, down, down. Oh.
It's off now.
You say everything I want to say. You go anywhere you want today. Want to play, going down, down, down. Uh-oh. From the outside looking in, shiny, beautiful, you win. You run around and go, but can't get anywhere. Slow down, move ahead. I need time, man. I can't be done alone. I'll take you there. Somewhere must be places.
Okay, so hopefully you can clearly hear there. Hello, am I still here? Hello? Chat? Oh, I'm successfully reconnected. Am I back? I'm back. Wow, looks like, I'm not even going to say, man, it looks like somebody's moving out of my house. Looks like they unplugged the internet. Man, unbelievable. Can't wait till this. Anyway, I've got to get on with my job. So, all right, we're back. Are we actually back? Wow, amazing stuff. So, I was never gone. It actually said here that I got knocked offline. OBS went offline. Internet went offline for a sec. So, let's try and get back in here. So, within the instructions, it tells us here. So, this section here, we can choose our sample rate. God, I wish this mouse worked. So you can choose your sample rate. If you've got a 48 kilohertz song, 44, 96, this is where you choose it up here. We are dealing with 44 at the moment. So there's that. Within the instructions, it tells us to use this, I can't even see. Where are my glasses? They're on my face. This octaves thing here. Now this smooths out, you'll see with our EQ, this smooths everything out. So we've got a more smooth, even kind of looking analyzer.
We will cross the line. Almost time will be fine, fine, fine. All the time. There's no need to worry, and it's time to go. Got a feeling.
So we've got this little button here, which when we turn on, adds in shows our compression moving around. Yeah.
All the time. From the outside looking in, shine.
Over here is our reference track. So if we bring in a reference track now, let's do that. So we've got a reference track here. I'm just going to, of course, I'm not going to play anything that's commercial and get myself nailed. But if we just do like a Pete Johns, do a search for Pete. That's a mixed, maybe just type grown. There we go. Grown ass man export. I think it's this one. We can load that'll do. So you can see here is, hi Sith. So you can see here is our, and Kim. Now we have a reference track in here. And what's really cool, we can move the volume of our main track and then grab our reference track volume and bounce back and forward between them. And what you can also do is turn on this loop button up here. See if I can get more of this. And we can set up 2 loops between the 2 of them so we can reference a certain part of the song and bounce back and forward between them. And wherever you touch with your finger, will take the song. Yeah, so I'll show you here. So you can bounce to any point really quickly within the song. So referencing is really super simple. Plus we have over here in the corner our little reference section. So this will show you the difference between the two. So you can see here, we're being told what the difference is between the two levels. But we will cover this in another video because today is just an overlook at this, and what we're going to do maybe next week or the week after is a full breakdown of everything and do a master with, I'll get a track, a reference track, and we'll do all this properly. So today is just an overview to decide if this is something that you should get. All right, let's kill that. Bring the volume back up. So presets. Can be found at the top here. And there's a ton of them. But again, with mastering, we'll just stop that. With mastering, not all these presets are going to work, yeah? Because the styles of music are completely different. And I mean, you may find one in here to start working from, but it's not always gonna work. But so we have a fast compression. We'll zoom in a bit so you can see this. Heavy compression, heavy fast, heavy slow, light, light fast, light slow, medium slow, neutral, stereo neutral, stereo very wide, and a stereo wide. Let's just go through them and show you the differences, and then we'll run through the EQ.
You see everything I want to see. You are everywhere I want to be. Want to need, going down, down, down. Oh. You say everything I want to say. You go anywhere you want today. Want to play.
You can save your presets by clicking up the top. So you've got a save presets button here, and this will put those presets into this little user folder that you can access. Now at any time, if you would like to import or export presets, let me show you where you do that. So it can be found in your On My iPad, and you'll find the Trinity app. There it is. And all the presets get saved in here. So you've got factory presets in here, and anything else you add just in here. When you master songs, they end up in the Trinity folder. So here's a couple of songs I've already mastered. So you'll have to get used to that. I've had to get used to that. Let's go back over here and go back to just default. Sweet. All right, so we've kind of covered this. Let's have a look at the EQ. You have a low cut, which is really nice over here. Let's hit play.
Outside looking in, shiny, beautiful, you win. You run around and go, but can't get anywhere. Slow down, move ahead, and need time to mend. I can't be done alone, I'll take you there. Somewhere.
So to grab a hold of any of these three bands here, you just need to tap on them and up and down to mess with these even further. So if we bring this up, and also this top, see, I can't do this with the mouse. So up here, when I drag left and right here, we're getting our Q or our wide spectrum. So there we go. And this is the same for all of our bands. Up and down, for add, subtract, EQ, and we can move down the bottom with this little section here, left and right. Bada bing, like so. Let's just drag that there. So let's hit play again.
Must be places almost anywhere. Moving quickly, we will cross the line. Almost time, we'll be fine, fine, fine. All the time, there's no need to worry, and it's time to go. Got a feeling that we can't deny. Just you and I will be fine, fine, fine. All the time. From the outside looking in, shiny, beautiful, you win. You run around and go, but can't get anywhere. Slow down, move ahead. I need time to mend. I can't be done alone. I'll take you there.
So just to explain the high end here. Jesus. Just to explain the high end here, if you touch up here, this will change between a high cut, so a cut, or you can completely play with this to your heart's content, yeah? If we drag this over here. So you've got all the options of EQ, really easy to use with your cues and all that kind of stuff. I'm just going to reset this default. Just go back to there. So that is your EQ. And then from the chain, it goes down here to our normal and clip. Let's hit play and show you what that does. We have next to the clip, we have a overall compressor. So this compressor is the overall for these three compressors down here, our low end compressor, our mid compression, and our high compression. But this is our overall. Again, really needs mouse support, man, big time. It's getting frustrating. And we have our volume here. So let's show you that.
We'll be fine, fine, fine. All the
So you can see when I turn up the compressor here, it's really putting these three compressors into action. Turn it down, there's no compression. We can turn on and off the compressor as well and stuff like that. Let's concentrate on this little section down here. So here's our wave shaper, and we have 5 different things we can use in here. We've got an analog, vintage, overdrive, sparkle, and fuzzy. Let's go with the sparkle. And the volume, the control of this is next door. Our character slider. Let's take this song back.
You see everything I want to see.
So we're currently set to sparkle. We'll bring this up to something.
Beautiful, you win. You run around and go, but can't get anywhere. Slow down, move ahead. I need time to mend. I can't be done alone. I'll take you there. Somewhere must be places almost anywhere. Moving quickly, we will cross the line.
That analog is just really, really nice. So as you can see, you could hear with the sparkle, kind of gives it more air. The overdrive distorts it. It's a saturator. So it's not necessarily to be used all the time either. You can turn it off. You don't need to use it. Don't have to. Let's look at our 3-band compression quickly as well. So we'll hit play again.
Most time will be fine.
Now there's a solo button for each of these. Yeah, we have a solo button here. So let's solo the bass. And here's where we have our compression. So we've got our ratio for our compressor, our knee, attack, and release. Pretty standard stuff for a compressor. At the bottom we can go mono. So you should have heard that in cans go absolutely mono. Or we can go wide, spread that out. These are the low frequencies. You've got the control over how much individual compression. So not only do you have here, not only do you have an overall volume for amount of compression, you can control the amount of compression individually on each track. Here are the mids.
We'll be fine, fine, fine. All the time, we'll be fine. All the time. See a storm, you grab the mist, touch the sky, it's in your reach. You run around and go, but can't get anywhere. Slow down, move ahead, can lead time the man. I can't be done alone, I'll take you there. Take you there. Take you there.
And you've got your high end as well. Total control over everything. It's really, really neat. Let's bring in the bass. Take this back here. So here it is without the mids. We'll do some stereo width on the high end.
You run around and go, but can't get anywhere. Slow down, move ahead. Can need time to man. I can't be done alone. I'll take you there.
So as you can see, it's really, really comprehensive. Who knows what's going on with the internet since I got knocked offline. Is Trinity worth the price? I don't know, Tremor Bear. Do you think it's not up to me? I think $6 is incredibly cheap for something that yeah, it's up to you, isn't it, Tremor Bear? You've got to make that decision. If it's cheap enough for you, $6, man, I see people crying about fucking $12 for something that's incredible. I give up with prices because yeah, it is what it is. So we have an output volume down the bottom here as well. So here's where our output limiter is. So this is our limiter down the bottom. Let's hit play again.
Somewhere must be places almost anywhere. Moving quickly, we will cross the line. Almost time will be fine.
You've got a choice between a clip
All the time.
and a limiter. And with your limiter, you've got an attack and release. And this is really nice. You've also got, turn this down a bit, you've got a ceiling you can set for your limiter as well here. So we can bring this right down and you'll notice our final volume is being cut back big time here. Because you've set that ceiling. And what you want to do is, the aim you want to do when you're mastering a song, which we'll go into in another show, is you want to get your track to be sitting underneath 0, yeah? Just underneath 0. So our ceiling can do that for us. Our ceiling can sit that back here. Say if we want to go 0.6, 0.1, 0.2 is a good start, or 3, wherever you want to go. And you want our LUFS to sit around 14, unless you don't. But at the if you're not releasing music digitally, it's going to get crushed as soon as you upload it anyway. So there's that. Let's hit play again. Let's turn off the processing. So you can hear there's a massive difference between the track without processing and processing.
We'll be fine, fine, fine. All the time.
Okay, so the last section on here that we're going to cover and talk about today is our master. Oh, there's 2 more sections. This one here is our master output, and we have a mono button here.
We'll be fine.
So we can check for phasing, if there's any phasing.
We'll be fine, fine, fine. All the time. We'll be fine. Oh.
And we even have this little scope down here. I forget what they call it. It's I called it geo something. I can't remember what it's called. Geo something. But that's it used to be in if you had Final Touch, there was a big one of those. That's some kind of geoscope or whatever it is.
See a storm, grab the mist, touch the sky, it's in your reach. You run around and go, but I can't get anywhere. Slow down, move ahead, can need time to man. I can't be done.
All right, now this is a bit loud. It's way loud as a mix. I'm just going to head back to our default. Now, how can I tell it's a bit loud? Let's have a look. I'm going to remove this character down here. Get rid of that for starters. I've got our... Man, this mouse situation. Hope that gets fixed. Let's go back here. Now, you also have... And it's really hard to see. If hopefully I can zoom in so you can see this. No, it goes out of the picture. Of course it does. So down here, see just down here, this is where you choose between the LUFS meter. So when I click on it, it's now in RMS mode. So if I hit play, we're getting the sound in the final output in RMS. If I click it again, we're getting LUFS by the, so it's, I think it's by I forget the period of time. It's a very short period of time. You can see the LUFS here in white are going up and down because it's only every few seconds it's calculating the LUFS. There's 3 different LUFS versions. This one is a longer period of time. It's measuring the LUFS. And we want these to sit like, you know, around here for a digital recording. And the last one is LUI, which is the overall song. So currently this track is sitting at 12 LUFS.
All the time, there's no need to worry, and it's time to go. Got a feeling that we can't deny, just you and I.
Okay, so how are we going to bring this down and try and keep the volume at a decent level as well too? This is where we have both of these here. Now, I can't even, so now these buttons here, which I'm clicking on and off, these are turning on the saturate buttons. So this last one down here, here's the saturate, and this is allowing the saturate to come through both of these. You don't have to use the saturate, yeah? And you'll notice straight away,
We'll be fine, fine,
our LUFS are recalculating.
all the time. From the outside looking in, shiny, beautiful.
And already, our LUFS have dropped dramatically because we had the saturator on, adding that extra volume. You can also control the levels here of the clip. You can bring the sound down here. Let's take it back to the start and try and get an overall LUFS reading. So you can see it taking off and measuring the LUFS down the bottom.
You see everything I want to see.
That's way too loud.
You are everywhere I want to be. Want to need, going down, down, down. Oh, you
can see our LUFS dropping.
I want to say. You go anywhere you want today. Want to play, going down, down, down. Oh. From the outside looking in, shiny, beautiful, you win. You run around and go, but can't get anywhere. Slow down, move ahead. I need time to mend. I can't be done alone. I'll take you there. Somewhere must be places almost anywhere. Moving quickly, we will
So currently we have no processing on here.
almost time. We'll be fine, fine, fine. All the time. There's no need to worry, and it's time to go. Got a feeling that we can't deny. Just you and I will be fine, fine, fine. All the time. From the outside looking in, shiny, beautiful, you win. You run around and go, but can't.
Okay, so I basically have set my own preset for this. Let's go over to user and we'll close out today and we'll do a master of this and then compare it to the one I've already mastered that the Wolves are actually going to release. So let's discard that. Here is my master that I've saved, just called the Wolves up here. Here it is. We'll take this back to the start. Give it some volume and you guys can have a listen. I'll bounce back between processed and mastered.
You see everything I want to see. You are everywhere I want to be. Want to need, going down, down, down. Oh. You say everything I want to say. You go anywhere you want today. Want to play, going down, down, down. Oh. From the outside looking in, shiny, beautiful, you win. You run around and go, but can't get anywhere. Slow down, move ahead. I need time to mend. I can't be done alone. I'll take you there. Somewhere must be places almost anywhere. Moving quickly, we will cross the line. Almost time, we'll be fine, fine, fine. All the time. There's no need to worry, and it's time to go. Got a feeling that we can't deny. Just you and I will be fine, fine, fine. All the time. From the outside we'll be fine, fine, fine. All the time, we'll be fine. All the time. See a storm, you grab the mist, touch the sky, it's in your reach. You run around and go, but can't get anywhere. Slow down, move ahead. Can lead time the man. I can't be done alone. I'll take you there. Take you there. Take you there.
Sweet. So you can see as that song was going on, our LUFS meter's moving around a little bit there. So I can probably pull this down just a little bit. And I think that's kind of going to be good. Shall we do it? We'll do an export and then we'll get out of here for the day. So export up the top here. We've got 24-bit, 16, 24, 32. We can dither as well, but so we can do all of that. We're going to leave it at 24. We'll dither it, export, and we can give it a name. New master. Hit OK, and we're off. It's a great song, isn't it? All the songs on this album are freaking-tastic. So it doesn't take too long to master. As I said, it sends the file over into the Trinity folder. It's done. So we just need to click on Files app, and there it is, Trinity New Master. So we'll click on this and we'll send it over to Audio Share so we can have a look at it. Maybe. There we go. There we go. There is the master. So we can see the original here.
You run around and go, but can't get any. Go, but can't get anywhere. Slow down, move ahead. You need time to man. I can't be done alone. I'll take you.
Right, and see, along the edges here, we still have lots of definition going on around here. We still have lots of character. Like, you know, this isn't a brick wall. There's nothing. It's not like a solid block. That's what we want. There's still room there. I reckon it's going to be a fairly decent mix. Let's have a look at it. Just the visual of it compared to the actual finished master. So if I go into the masters here of the actual album, now pay attention to that image there. And now let's look at my master that I've already done. Pretty similar. A bit softer here, a bit more room.
And go, but can't get anywhere. Slow down, move ahead. You need time to. Slow down, move ahead. You need time to man. I can't be done alone. I'll take you there.
Let's head over to loudness penalty and have a look what they say about it. Let's see what it sounds like to them. Loudness penalty, because remember we're using LUFS here because we're trying to mix it. So, you know, maybe around what, 13.6 LUFS. Want it below 14. Here it is. It's that one, New Master. So I'm just thinking it's going to be a little bit over. There you go. 0. That's pretty good. I think that's going to be okay. If we open this up in, say, Neon as well, and go to our media bay here, and we'll import it into here, we can get an overall LUFS reading in this as well. What's the song called? Take You There. STTTT. Why can't I find it? Just imported it. What's it called in here? Oh, man. Get a grip. I'll take you there. There we go. That's what I'm doing wrong. Dick. I. New master. Let's load this in. And we can go up the top here and get an overall measurement. So 14.5, we could probably give that a bit more, I reckon. Could definitely give it a bit more. Let's go and do that before we go. I'm going to bring this volume up a little bit. So about there. Louder master. Boom. Yeah, it could go a little bit louder. If it's a bit, you don't want it to be over 14 at all. So under 14 is good. And, you know, they're going to compress it anyway. But this is why we have LUFS meters. So we try not to, because I don't know if you guys know how it works with Spotify and Apple Music when they apply the compression. So you can send a song to Apple through DistroKid, of course. Link in the description, 7% off. Great sponsors of this channel. You can send a song to distribution services and it be 8 LUFS and be incredibly loud. But as soon as it's played through Apple Music or Spotify, it's done on the fly. So as soon as somebody hits play, then Apple servers kick in and they add the compression on the fly to bring it down to the 14 LUF section, you know, level. So the experience for users is, you know, overall on the same level. You can turn off that if you want as well. I mean, you can upload songs that are crazy loud LUFs, but it will get compressed whenever somebody streams it or anything like that. So that went over here to files. It was this one, wasn't it? Louder master. See, it's a little bit louder. Shall we open that up in here? Let's try it again one more time. We'll import into here. I'll take you there, Louder Master. There we go, load. That's way too loud. See, I took it way too loud. Now it's 12.76. So that volume is really touchy in there too. So it's something to pay attention to. I brought this up, you know, a fair bit. And everything's, the one thing is that's a bit difficult is everything is so small. Everything's so small, especially for someone like me who can't see very well. Just last mask. And here's the beauty of this. You can keep doing this as many times as you want because everything's digital. And if you muff up, you muff up. You can go back, do it again. That is the beauty of digital recording and digital mastering and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, happy days. Because you can just delete the file if you don't like it until you get the right outcome. Well done. Thanks, Kim, for doing that. Go over here, grab this, try one more. Yeah, I don't think they can make it any bigger. That's the thing, because it's going to be made for a desktop and for Mac and Windows. That's the reasoning behind the code and such. And I love doing this. It's just making multiple copies of this on my iPad. Last master. It better be the last. That will do. We'll just leave it at that. So if we open this up now in loudness penalty, you'll see completely different to here. I'll probably bring that down a little bit more, but it is what it is. Time is of the essence. That's the last master. Boom. So yeah, it's 0.8. That would be fine. That would be fine. So they're only going to drop 0.8 decibels on YouTube, 0.8 on Spotify, 0.8 on Tidal, 2.8 on Apple, because Apple's a little bit different. Of course, Apple's a little bit different. But that's a pretty decent, I mean, it's a great mix in the first place anyway. So you can see here, we went from this to this.
Can't get anywhere. Slow down, move ahead. Got need time, no man. I can't be done alone. I'll take you there.
So it's absolutely a fraction of the price of using Lursons, which, you know, I use Lursons. I love Lursons. I think it's really cool. But at the same time, $6, yeah. It's the perfect replacement for Final Touch. It's got all the same stuff as Final Touch in there, a little bit of a different layout. Plus, remember, there is this wonderful, wonderful section guide here for you to get a good understanding of how it works, which I need to spend more time on myself, of course, because there just isn't enough time in the day. Boom. But that is your overview. We'll be looking at this again at another stage, maybe not next week, maybe the week after, and I'll have my head around it a little bit more, and we'll do some more work with it. Maybe we'll get you guys some people to send in some songs, and I'll master them live here on a show. What do you think of that? Good idea. And we'll have some different songs, find some reference tracks, and we'll do a whole show where maybe we take 4 songs here live on YouTube, and we master 4 of them and do that. You get to see what happens on the Patreon every week, and we'll use this to do so. I reckon that's a good idea. Yeah. Tomorrow, guys, we've got something special happening. I hope you can join me for it. If I can find the little ad here. We're doing this. It is a special show. The album that was never released. Back in 1999, I was asked to sing for a band called Peppertoe, completely out of my wheelhouse. I was in a FMC and doing all this death metal stuff, and these guys approached me and asked me to sing on their album. We spent months recording this album. We finally got it finished. We got together as a band. We had a few rehearsals, and the thing never came out. And it's probably one of the best things I've ever been a part of, and sadly, it's not out. Last night I spoke to the songwriter, Dylan, and we talked about old times, and I'm going to tell you the story about how this went down and play you the entire album, which I made a video for last night as well. And once the show is finished, the entire album will be up on YouTube for you to listen to in a video form with all the tracks segmented. I did this for you last night. So that's happening tomorrow, yeah? All right, I have to get the hell out of here and rest. And you can see here, I was making images last night for the video. So there you go. There's a sneak preview of what's coming tomorrow. Should be fun. Hopefully I'll see you here. Thanks for joining me today. Remember, do the things that make you happy. Mistakes make you better. And we'll all rise together, as Mamsie says. Boom.
We'll all rise together, 'cause you make me shine better, and we'll all rise together. You make me shine better. When the night is cold and lonely, we all shine together. And if you're lost and afraid,